So let's talk a little bit more about our primary teaching tool, reinforcement. I know that you've already heard a lot about reinforcement, but there's a lot to reinforcement. We will get into the idea of primary and secondary reinforcers. Primary reinforcers function as reinforcers even though the learner has no particular learning history with it. For example, drinking milk. No one taught the infant to drink the milk, right? It was something that they knew to do, and it's reinforcing when they drink milk. There's no prior learning with primary reinforcers. Synonymous with unlearned or unconditioned. Food, water, oxygen, warmth, sexual stimulation are examples of stimuli that you don't have to go undergo learning history to function as reinforcers. The value of primary reinforcers can be manipulated through motivating operations such as deprivation and satiation. Primary reinforcers may be used when there's a limited number of secondary reinforcers the individual will work for. So let's say that you're going to teach someone. Let's say you have a young individual and you're teaching them to say hello. Okay? It's not something that they're doing. It's something that you want to teach as a building block to even get more interaction with peers. Okay? And the idea then is, what can we do to get him to say hello to somebody? Okay? If intrinsic motivation isn't enough for someone to greet someone else, sometimes we have to incorporate reinforcement to get that skill going. Okay? So we may use some primary reinforcer, such as food. Let's say a little piece of raisin. And so we're teaching to say hello, and we're reinforcing him for saying hello with raisins. Well, that might be okay just to get the skill started, but eventually what we want him to do is say hello and be reinforced by someone saying hello back, like a peer. So we may start out with a raisin, such as a primary reinforcer, but as quickly as possible, we want to fade that out, and we're going to pair it with social praise and so forth, to eventually what we want to do is maintain and sustain that behavior just through the natural reinforcement. So we want to go from sort of this contrived primary reinforcer to natural reinforcement. Sometimes we absolutely have to use primary reinforcers. Now, someone may say, well, hey, that's not a natural thing. It's treating people like, it's not natural to give someone a raisin for saying hello. You're right, and we don't want to continue to do that. We want to fade that out as quickly as we can. But the idea is, if it's an important skill, if this skill is going to impact quality of life, lifestyle, ability to interact with people, then I certainly wouldn't hold up a valuable skill because I would have some preference not to use a primary reinforcer. We know if we're not motivated to do something, it's less likely to occur. And if I can get someone more motivated through extrinsic reinforcement to get this skill going and then eventually fade that out, I do it every time, because it's a significant skill. It's a skill that will impact relationships. It's a skill that is natural and important, especially with people.